Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today is the first week since the year started, 2023. Are you guys blessed? How is the year taking you? And so far, to me, I'm grateful to God. I'm excited about 2023 and I'm having positive vibe about 2023, and I think God has great plans for me. 2022 has been a very sad year for me. I've cried a lot of tears, and when I began this year, I decided to put my pain behind me, because when I look back at my life and when I remembered the pain and when I remembered what it made me to be, it made me to be negative about life, to be so angry at God, to be so bitter with life, because I lost my grandmother on May, and it made me to be so angry with God. And I was asking God so many questions. Why did he have to take my grandmother away? And I was not the best version of myself. For the people who have been following me, they have seen a completely different person since May 24th. And sometimes you reflect back on your life and you call yourself in a meeting and you're like, God has to give you the grace to change, because we cannot change by ourselves, because death is very painful and it's something that everybody tells you it's easy, it is well, but it is never well. It is a very painful situation. Only God can heal, and only God can restore that pain. And when I came to the end of this year, I sat myself down, and it's like I was having a talk with my grandmother, and I was like, she lived her life, she brought me well when my mom passed away, and she stepped in that shoe from my grandmother to a mother, and she gave me the best version of her. And I looked at myself and I'm like, what am I doing to my children? I'm just draining my kids. I'm not taking my kids for activities anymore. I'm not that happy person anymore. I'm not that vibrant person anymore. And I looked at my children and I just felt bad for them, and I felt I'm not fair with them. So I just told God, I just want you to heal my heart. I know it's gonna take time, but I want to be the best version to my kids. I want to be the best mother to my kids. I want to be that mom who was happy, who was always looking forward to going out with our kids, taking our kids for activity. And I said, this 2023, that's the woman I'm going back to, and I told my grandmother, I loved you so much, and I'm sure where you are, you want me to be the best version of me. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna make her proud wherever she is, and I know she's in heaven, she's watching me, and I'm gonna make her proud. I'm gonna become that woman she always prayed for me to become. I'm gonna be that great mother she always wanted me to become. My grandmother was a single mom, and one thing my grandmother always used to encourage me once I divorced to the father of my kids. My grandmother told me, why are you crying? Men are not 12 like disciples. We have so many men outside here. If this one has stopped loving you, if this one has stopped appreciating you, you're gonna meet someone else who's gonna appreciate you. And if you don't meet that person, you have your children. Give that love to your children. Look at your children and see yourself and see love. My grandmother used to tell me, even if you die today, you're not gonna go in a loss, because you have a generation. And I just love that vibe that she used to give me. And she used to tell me, because my grandmother was married too, and she used to tell me the moment she got divorced with her husband, and one thing she said to herself, like, she's not gonna be pinned down. She's gonna be that strong woman. She's gonna be that woman she always wanted to become. And that encouraged her, and plus the love from her brothers. Her brothers really supported her. My grandmother brother was a doctor, and may his soul rest in peace. He really held my grandmother with so much love, and he supported my grandmother, and he made my grandmother to be that businesswoman, to be that hardworking woman. You know, they never abused her. They never saw her as a curse. They never saw her as a taboo. No, their first priority to their sister was their sister to be happy and their sister to be safe. So my grandmother used to encourage me and tell me, never look down at yourself because your marriage has failed, or your marriage has not remained, or your marriage has not been what you wanted to have, because nobody wants to get a divorce, or nobody wants to bring up her children by herself. You know, everybody wants to bring up her children as a complete family. So, but my grandmother told me, we don't plan for our future. You know, we don't even plan for our present. It's God who plans for it, and it's God who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But whatever happens now, you know, you have the power in your hand to determine what you want to bring your kids to be. You know, if you want to bring up your kids to be sad, if you want to bring up your kids to be depressed, it's up to you, because you have that power in you. So you gotta work on yourself to be the best version of you, you know, for you to live a positive life. And once you're happy, your kids are happy, you know. So number one, when I started my YouTube, I think that's 8 months ago, I told you guys, being a single mom, it's not a disability. But most people have been telling me, you told us being a single mom is not a disability, but you have not continued with the video. You have not told us what to do, or what you meant by saying that. So number one, once your marriage fails, or once you get a child and you're not planning to get a child, but the child comes and the man tells you that you guys cannot be together. So number one, you gotta accept the situation. You know, you have to accept the situation, because the situation is there. And what is not gonna change, the kids are not gonna be out of your life. The kids are here. You know, the situation is here. So you have to accept the situation. You have to accept that you are alone now. You and your children. And these children, they have nowhere to go except to stay with you or to go with the dad. So if you remain with the kids, or if the kids remain with the father, you have to be the best version of those kids. You know, you have to accept the situation, because once you accept the situation, you become happy with yourself. You know, and you know how to deal with the situation now, because you're a single mom. So the communication you with your ex-husband is no longer the same now. You know, there's gonna be fight in between. You know, maybe you tell him to pay the school fees, he refuses. How are you gonna deal with that? Or you tell him to pay the rent, then he refuses. You tell him to buy the food, then he refuses. So things change. And I'm telling you guys, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's one of the toughest things that can ever happen to any human being. So you need a lot of love from your family. And if you don't receive that, you go look for counseling, you go look for help, you go look for friends. It's not easy to have friends, especially who are married and you're divorced. Because once you become a single mom, your second name becomes a prostitute. That's what I always say, because that's how you are named by the society. Because people are gonna say, you're a single mom, you're gonna take their husband. When they see you standing with their husband talking, they think that you're there to snatch their husband. So you have to know life has changed, and life can never be the same again, you know. So you have to accept the situation. I know now it's you and your kids, and learn from there. You know, if it's to work now, you know, you have to work extra hard. You know, if it's the love you're giving to your children, you have to know now you're giving double the love. You know, if it's time, you have to know now it's you. This person is not there. Unless you have a very good person that you guys are gonna do co-parenting. Because once you guys do co-parenting, it becomes easier for the kids. You know, the kids are not gonna go through rejection. But when there's no co-parenting, it's tough even for those kids. You know, as much as you're wounded, as much as you're paining, just know those kids are paining double than you. It's just that they cannot talk because they're lacking this one parent. And that's one part that parents don't understand, that when we divorce or when we get separated, these kids too, they go through pain, they go through a phase in their life, you know. And as parents, we are very selfish because we forget our kids. We always think about ourselves. And I always say, once we divorce, I'm gonna get up another partner out there. He's gonna love me, you know, and I'm gonna love him back. But what about these kids? They will never have another father or another mother who is gonna replace their biological parent. They'll always live in that place of we, like, I miss my dad, I miss my mom, I wish dad was around. Dad could have taken us for movie. Mom could not be working a lot. Mom could not be frustrated. Mom could not be making this noise. We'll be spending more time with our mom, you see. So once you accept the situation, life will be okay. Even with the stigma outside there, it's not going to affect you because you have accepted who you are. And I always say you have the power of yourself. Nobody has the power of you, only you. And one thing that you can control in this world is yourself. You can never control anybody. You cannot even control your kids' emotion. You cannot even control your mother, your father. No, the only person you can control is yourself. So once you accept the situation that you're a single mom or you're a single dad, life becomes easier. And you're going to bring up those kids as a very happy soul. No regret, no pain. Of course, sometimes I always say single parenting or single parenting is just like grief, you know. Sometimes you may find it's not one of those happy days. You're just down there, you're depressed, you know. You're thinking into yourself like, this is not what you wanted to be. This is not how you wanted to bring up your kids, you know. You miss that partner. You wish he's there for you to share with him about the children, or you to share with him the news of the kids. But unfortunately, you're by yourself, you know. So those moments will be coming where you feel low, where you cry. And I'm talking about experience. Me too. Sometimes I have those moments. I just lock myself in my room and I cry. And I wish this person was here. We bring up our kids. Especially when I see my kids winning. I'm like, oh my goodness. I wish he was here. We celebrate our kids together. Because it was not my wish to bring up my kids by themselves. Or when I have a challenge with my kids, I'm like, I wish he was here for me to call him and tell him, hey, this baby is doing this and this. Can you talk to that child? And it hurts. It hurts. I'm not going to tell you guys it's easy. If you're going through a divorce, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. If you can be able to fight for your marriage, if you can be able to sit down and solve your marriage, I advocate you do that. Marriage is a beautiful thing and I support marriage. You know why? Because of the kids. But I don't support toxic marriage. I rather bring up children, happy kids in a broken home than bring up wounded kids in a marriage, you know. That is my belief, you know. I better bring up wounded kids. I better bring up happy kids in a broken home than bring up wounded kids in a marriage institution. So I don't support toxic marriage. I don't support violence marriage, but I support happy marriage. And me too, I would love one day to get married because marriage is a beautiful thing ordained by God. But I'd rather go to my parents on my life than go to my parents in a coffin. So that is number one thing when you become a single parent, when you go through a divorce, when you get that child out of wedlock, accept your situation. Accept yourself, love yourself, because the most important thing you can do to yourself as a human being is to love yourself. The part that you don't love yourself, correct it. Make yourself to be that woman that you want to be. You know, forgive yourself, because once a marriage break, it's the two of you that participated. You know, nobody should lie and say, oh, I was the good one, he was the bad one. No, the two of you are wrong because you could not settle the situation. So forgive yourself. you know, for you to remove this guilt and for you to stop always looking down on yourself. Love yourself, make yourself this woman you always admire to be, you know. Make yourself to be this happy mom you always admire to be. This mom that you would wish your sister to be. This mom that you always admired your mom to be, or you wished your mom to be, or you prayed your mom to be. Be that mother. You know, and that's the best gift you give to yourself. To be the best version of yourself. To love yourself, you know. To embrace yourself. And once you do that, you know what's going to happen? Everybody that is around is going to love you. And you're gonna generate happiness to everybody that is around you. But when you're sad and when you don't forgive yourself, and when you don't accept yourself, you'll just be this toxic person that even your kids, they don't want to be around you, you know. And you're gonna bring up wounded kids again, you know. And you're gonna lose friends because nobody wants to be around you because you're bitter, you're sad. You know, you're gonna be looking yourself in the room all the time, and you're gonna fall into depression. Like we see so many single moms, single dad, you know, they have sunk into depression. Some they have become alcoholic, you know. Some they are dating, they are moving from one relationship to another, trying to look for validation from men. But you can never get a validation from men. You know, this alcohol will not solve the situation, because once you drink, you'll become sober after a few hours. You know, once you're depressed, you don't open your curtains, you lock yourself in the room, it's not going to solve any situation. What is going to solve this situation is for you to love yourself, for you to accept yourself, and for you to forgive yourself, and to make yourself to be the best version of you. So, thank you so much. So, ask me any question down below and tell me anything that you want me to talk about. And this is a series that I'm going to continue with it. I think it's gonna be like 6 of it. So we're gonna continue and talk about forgiving yourself. From forgiving yourself, how do you handle the situation? How do you go from there? And I hope I'm gonna change your life. And I hope I've encouraged one mom, one dad, because I know this journey is not easy. But by the grace of God, we're gonna make it through. I love kids, and that's why I always love to advocate for kids, you know. And yeah. So I love you, God bless you, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be the first one to receive my new videos. Bye bye, love you, and God bless you.